This video will showcase how to service your rhythm section hub. These are the inner parts of the cassette body. These are the tools you will need. Step 1. Remove your axle bolts, or the axle nuts if you're servicing our 36-hole Pro Hub. Step 2. Take one of the hub washers, flip it around, and put a screw back through the washer. Then thread the screw with the backward washer back into the non-drive side of the hub. On a Pro Hub, you would use the axle nut to do the same thing. Then, using your tools, tighten this down snugly. Step 3. Use the cone wrench on the non-drive side of the hub and the 15mm wrench on the drive side, and then remove the drive side hub cone. Step 4. Remove the cassette body by turning it counterclockwise and pull to remove it. When removing the cassette body, make sure not to lose the inner bearing spacer, as this will sometimes stick inside the cassette body. It might stay on the axle or it may fall out onto the table, so just be sure not to lose this spacer. Step 5. Remove the retainer spring, pawls, and pawl springs from the cassette body. Clean everything inside the hub and all parts thoroughly, or replace them with the new parts if you have them. Time to reassemble your hub. Step 6. The pawl springs are two-sided, with one end being bigger than the other. Install the larger end of the pawl spring into the pawl. Do this with all 3 springs and pawls. Step 7. Install the 3 pawl spring assemblies into the cassette body. You can use a single drop of Tri-Flow lubricant under each of the pawls if you like. Step 8. Find the small hole on the rotor wall and insert the tip of the retainer spring into the hole. Wrap this spring around the rotor and over the pawls in a counterclockwise direction. It is important that you do this in a counterclockwise direction. Step 9. Now check for proper retainer spring fit. The finished assembly should look like this. If your retainer spring looks like this, where it overlaps itself, you will need to remove it and cut it a bit shorter. Be careful not to cut too short. Here is an example of a spring which has been cut too short. Don't let this happen. Here is what it looks like when it is cut to the correct length. If you need to cut this spring, be sure to cut the end without the tip that fits into the hole. This has been corrected on all current model hubs, but if you have an older one with this issue, then cutting it should solve the problem. Step 10. Now check for smooth operation of the pawls, making sure that all pawls are moving freely with no binding. Lubricant should help with this if need be. Step 11. Install the inner hub spacer back onto the axle. Step 12. Insert the cassette body back into the hub. You may need to manipulate the pawls by pushing them down and at the same time turning the cassette body in a counterclockwise direction to insert it back into the hub. Step 13. Reinstall all the hardware. Tighten by using the cone wrench on the non-drive side cone and the 15mm wrench on the drive side cone, and tighten snugly. Now reinstall the wheel back onto your bike. Ride and have fun. Just be careful taking your first pedal after installing the wheel to make sure everything is working properly and tight before going hard.